we're going live. Going live. Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. Oh, yeah. All right, everyone at home, we're going live, baby. And I'm going to do my normal routine of checking that my voice is actually coming through, because the one day that I don't check, I know it will not come through. Sounds pretty good to me. Woo! Coolies, and then I shall message anyone and everyone. Yo, 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 yo. Everyone stood. We're going live on YouTube now. Whoa. Boopity boop 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 bop. Do 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 do. Na 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 na. I've already got a small comment here, which is by Identity Faraz, the main man, and he says the thumbnail though, and then a bunch of stars. And yes, indeedy, I did put both Juan and I actually contributed to this thumbnail. So if you're looking at it, you'll see that there is a couple of zombies in the background. Oh, I can't listen to myself while I'm talking. That's disorientating AF. So I got the stream up, got my handy audio editor, rare, and I'm waiting. So now we just got to wait 4 minutes, and then we shall be all sweet and ready to go. I'm going to clean up the table a bit. Mate, what is all this talk about you freaking coming through?
3 months it says it's going to be.
Bruh.
What happens when it's only 1 month? Also, I can't even use it myself.
What's that? What a shit up.
You can't also do it during like popular flying times.
Okay, what's a popular flying time?
It's a holiday. 3 weeks before and 3 weeks after.
Oh, wait, so it's... Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But that's not Easter holiday, right?
No, but it's 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like 2 weeks after the Easter holidays.
Gotcha. Well, that's kind of useless. Fucking blind. How much are the tickets then, did you see? Just out of interest?
Like 160.
To Sydney?
Yeah. Probably turn this on.
It's not extravagant. Is that how much they were, like,
pre-COVID?
Sorry.
That was how much it was. Wait, you're asking me like how much they are normally?
Well, how much were they pre-COVID and how much are they now? What was that?
Dude, I have no idea. I have no idea how much. I think you could get at the cheapest of fares, like maybe return like $99. At the absolute cheapest
pre-COVID.
I don't know now.
Yeah.
How much you'd probably be able to get it for.
Gotcha. For those interested at home, we're thinking about doing a Sydney trip in, when would it be? Like 2 weeks?
2 weeks,
yes. Yeah. So hopefully we can get that off the ground and running. That would be fun. And we'd still come back in time to do the live podcast. Do not worry, folks at home. We'd just have to think about how we could do the normal meanderings when we could do that. We could probably do a double session sometime next week, I guess. That'd probably be the go.
Yeah.
All right, let me export that. Getting ahead of time. Yeah. All right, 6:59. I reckon we start to kick it off, Wani.
Let's do it.
So I'll do the intro and then
as well.
and then I'll hand it off to you. So we've got Petar, nice t-shirt. Yeah, thank you, Peter. I'm gonna mention that. I'll mention that right at the start of the actual
Dan,
thing.
did I come up with this topic?
I came up with it, but then I sort of passed it on to you to come up with the details for it.
Good. Okay.
Okay, so all right. So you ready to rumble?
Let's do it.
Okay, here we go. Yes, indeed. That's it. We're not sexy tigers over here. No, today is a musing session, and we're going to be talking about zombies, everyone at home. So
Zombies.
the topic for this live musings, as always, is going to be the zombie apocalypse, the surviving it, how the mere mortals will live on. You've got the survivor over here, Kyron survivor on this side.
You got one probably going to get chomped up.
One
by
zombie
the
bait
zombies.
on the other side.
Yeah.
And just before we begin...
Speaking of, actually, I got bitten already today. Not by zombies, but by spiders. So I've been bitten by a couple of spiders, so I'm prepared for the zombies to come next.
Well, this is where the outbreak's going to come from. It's going to come from one.
Yeah.
So, yes, that's what we'll be talking about today. I just want to highlight right at the start here, I've got my Podcasting 2.0 shirt
Certified
on. Podcasting 2.0 certified this show right here. We're going live, and we will hopefully be going live on the actual stuff as soon as I get my ass into gear and
how far away do we think we are?
Well, I did a real good effort yesterday in creating a website for myself to be able to do a self-hosting. It's going to be called v4vpodcast.fun because that was the cheapest domain name. But I'm actually having some troubles still setting up the site. I'm going to be talking to you next week about the whole process of ICANN and the domain name service and
DNS and the fun that it is.
I'm not a happy chappy with all of that. But in any case, yes, this is a value for value podcast right at the start. So if you're listening via an app, we would suggest going to one with chapters at the... Well, I don't actually put chapter art in for these ones, but I do put chapters as in when... what we're talking about when we're at, so you can skip forward or backwards if you want to. And we'll be reading out some boostagrams later on in the show. Peter, one of our guests in the chat, is going to be has already sent through some boostagrams, so we'll be reading those out. If you're not sure what those are, go to newpodcastapps.com, choose one of the ones with value. It's sending a Bitcoin payment via a message, but we won't bleed on about that right now. Let's get into the actual topic.
All right, cool. So you brought this one up originally, which was basically surviving a zombie apocalypse. But yes, you left it to my own quick little interactions of what does that mean? What does that look like? What are the details behind it?
Well, let's start off with maybe create a scenario for me how this outbreak has occurred and what the zombies are like, I guess.
All right, cool. Okay. So the way that I'm going to explain it, so similarly to maybe how COVID began. So let's give it the idea that...
blaming the bats again?
Blaming the bats. No, somewhere far away, in a land far, far away, there has been a bit of news, a bit of information that's come out from a rural location that, oh crap, we've let some sort of strain that we were working on escape. It's out, and unfortunately, it looks like it's turning people into zombies. Now, this very, very remote location, they've sealed it off. They've sealed it off from all humanity, all people. Let's just say it's an island.
Filthy zombies.
It's one of the most remote islands in the world.
Yep.
But it's turned everyone on that island into zombies.
Yes.
Shit, that's happened. Now, these zombies, they are twice as strong as normal humans. So whatever strength you had, it's double as strong.
Okay.
And also double speed.
So you'd be struggling. I'd probably be destroying things.
Yeah, I'd be struggling still. But these zombies, they can live essentially forever, right? So they can live forever unless you kill them in a particular, in a way that would completely end them from being able to move on that. But what I mean by that is they don't necessarily need to eat or anything.
So if they lose a leg, they can crawl.
They can keep on going. Exactly. Yeah. But if you chop all of the legs and arms off and maybe their head, then they're going to stop. Yeah. I'm going to say that sort of thing. But the reason I said that they're on an island in a very remote location is because, let's just say, by the science, by the mathematics, by the numbers, it'll take them exactly 1 year to reach the mainland. So 1 year to reach whichever mainland that you're situated in. USA, South America, Colombia, India, whatever. Takes 1 year for the zombies to get there. Now, when they get there, it's on. Like the zombie apocalypse is on. And for this particular scenario, let's just say that no government's going to help out. No government's deciding to like bomb them while they're swimming there or anything to that effect. No, like they're going to reach in 1 year's time to your country. And so the thought process here is, okay, so the zombie apocalypse is 1 year away. Exactly 1 year away.
Yeah, I'm sort of imagining more like people are debating whether the zombies are actually exist or not. You know, there's no unified front of, okay, we're going to have to, you know, create a safe haven of Brisbane, for example, and we'll erect, is the word I wanted, a big wall around it or some sort of defenses.
Exactly.
Because there's just too much internal politics division. So, but you know, because you've got good sources of information like the mere mortals, and so you're like, oh,
it's
shit,
coming.
a year's time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm laying down the law. It's exactly 1 year that you have to prep for the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah. Peter says, AKA COVID-23.
Exactly. So COVID-23. Now, my thought is, okay, what do you do given that you've got 1 year to prepare for the zombie apocalypse?
Yeah.
And again, these zombies are your traditional zombies where if you get bitten by a zombie, then you'll transform into a zombie. Maybe that bacteria will get passed along in that way, and the person will get transformed into a zombie in a day, let's say, in case that's needed. Where does your mind go to, first of all?
Well, you know, to be honest, I didn't even really put too much effort into the prepping and planning per se. Obviously, because I'm a zombie denier, and I don't believe they're going to come.
Okay.
No, my thoughts were like, I'm not going to be able to really influence that much in terms of like creating a structure for myself in my normal everyday life that's gonna work out. So it's more like I don't particularly see myself being able to fortify my house in Brisbane. I don't see myself being able to I guess, you know, stay even in places I know in Australia, because I just think the overrunning of it, there's going to be so many problems that I couldn't personally predict that staying in a crowded location where there's lots of zombies is probably just a bad idea. So I'm not even doing too much prepping per se.
Okay.
I've got some thoughts on maybe a location move, but I'll bring that up in a sec. I want to know your prepping plans.
Okay, so you're thinking like location movement.
So I'm not particularly buying things. I will be learning some new skills, but I won't be I won't be like stocking up on guns and food per se.
Gotcha. Okay.
And trying to fight them. I think my thoughts are more avoidance rather than fighting.
Gotcha.
Is my general.
Nice. Yeah. Well, but even before that, I was kind of like just thinking, I was putting down notes of things I would do and thoughts around it and la 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 la. And then I went, so my first thing was talking about location. I went, could 1 year prep me a way that I could move to an island? You know, move to an island completely, and then there's no one there just yet, and then you've got a nice way to kind of fight yourself for when they start swimming towards you and the like. But I went, eventually I think they're going to get there kind of deal, and then what are you going to do? But I even started just focusing on the mindset. What's the mindset if you know that in a year there's going to be a zombie apocalypse? Do you go, fuck it, I'm going to enjoy my year?
Okay, yeah.
And just when it happens, just whatever, just deal with it as it comes.
I don't think that's a bad strategy, to be honest.
So there's that. Like, kind of like if you knew you were going to die in a year.
Yeah.
Do you go, okay, well, I'm just going to enjoy 1 year of life and just see how it goes? But then I went, okay, if you're going to prep for it, are you prepping for your lifetime? Or are you prepping multi-generational in order as well? Like if you say you have kids, are you going to prep not just for you, but so that your kid can keep on living in that world? Or do you go, okay, I'm going to prep so I can live kind of okay for 10 years, but I know they're going to eventually get me. So what I'm going to put forward is my thoughts is like living at least just my lifetime with perhaps the chance that it goes multi-generational, perhaps goes down that path. So my prepping, actually, where I started falling down to, I was like, okay, I think I would look for a bit more of a remote location. I think that would be more where I'd be facing towards. Yeah. And I'd go down the strategic view of like a mountaintop location. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm probably going to stay in Australia. I'm not going to try and travel everywhere else. Yeah. Or perhaps my prepping might be like 2 months of world travel and just get that out of the system. Yeah. Come back to Australia and then look for a good peak that I could build a decent size, like not just housing, but like almost community sort of style, and try to get a couple of people to go into it, and then essentially like build like a moat around this whole mountain to be like, okay, have it in such a setup that it can be like, you can kind of get in and out, but there's going to be like a real difficulty for anyone to be getting in unless you allow them to get in.
Okay.
So my prep would focus on...
So how's the moat going to work? So zombies can still swim, right? So
yeah, and a wall.
So it'll be like a deep moat.
Moat,
you fall in it, and if you fall in, you can't get out.
Yeah, think about it like castle style, where it's like, you know, you got the water around it, and you've got a pretty like large wall. So
gotcha.
Again, these zombies are not like ultra superhuman. They're going to jump 40 meters.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in the pool.
Unless you get like, you know, Olympic athletes who've become zombies right around your area, and then there's just
pole vaulting around.
Yeah, you got like Steve Hooker coming at you from.
But even then, so even though I'm talking about, I'm like, oh, that's kind of like the mindset that I would go to. I went, well, you know, imagine like 5 years down the track, you're probably going to have like just random zombies floating around in the pool kind of deal, and then when you start getting out and you like drive out or something, they're going to come and get you. So. My thoughts was like, just I'd be prepping for high ground location. So if you have to kind of fight back, at least from like a high point location. And then I was like, okay, how, at least in that first year, I would start preparing like, how am I going to do water, food, shelter, fire, and like some sort of like be able to go and get more sources of things. That's probably where I would start my preparing.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, what does that actually look like?
Okay, nice. So my thoughts were, I would very similar find a mountainous region. I had two options. One would be a place where it's where you would be like, fast movements are likely to get your ass killed. So if you're running fast and not being careful where you're placing your feet and things like that, that's a good place to die. And so as long as I'm careful and smart and like calm, most of the zombies will just get weeded out because they're like chasing or running everywhere, and so they're just going to fall off the cliff or fall off wherever.
Fair.
So my two options were, I'd live in a jungle where there's like lots of tigers and elephants and like just big things that could kill stuff that makes a lot of noise. So that would be one option. I don't particularly think that's a great one though, because you know there's still going to be tigers around. So my thoughts were definitely like mountainous, rocky, arid, like really like the sort of places where you see those goats living on the side of the cliff. Those sort of locations. So I don't know exactly where they are for sure. I think that's sort of like Middle East and maybe Peruvian, like the Andes, Chilean, Peruvian mountains, somewhere where it's not cold. At least I'm not going to be in.
You're going to be living in a cold place.
Yeah. Although, would cold affect them? Like if you're in Antarctica, and a zombie somehow manages to get out there, like arrive via a boat or something, and it's like outside, would it survive? Would it still become?
No. Because I guess those ways of saying, unless you like chop its legs off or chop its head off or something and stop it moving completely, it's still gonna. So it would survive like any coldness or any.
So hotness. It could just be like knocking on the door. Yeah. Like maybe its fingers would freeze, so it can't grip things and stuff like that.
But it would still be trying to get you.
Gotcha.
So the problem that I kept falling back to though, even in the thoughts of how are you going to be prepping for it, right? You got a whole year, but then the more I thought about it, I went, okay. Let's start with something as simple as like water. Okay, so you need water. Because eventually at some point, these zombies are going to overrun like production, like food's going to just stop basically. And I just went, okay, where are you going to get your water from when water plants and that just stop working altogether because there's not enough people working for them, right? Where are you going to get that? So for me, that's why I was like, okay, I think I'd have to go a mountain and a large enough space that you could kind of cordon off where you could almost build your own little like dam system basically up the top. So it's like, okay, I'm at the top, set it up so you can hold like some water from rainfall and build some storage out of it. So you have to do that for sure.
Just drink from your moat, man. That'll be fine.
When the zombies are out.
Little pail come down.
So I went, okay.
It'll just have like a slight tinge of, zombie, and you might find like a random eyeball in your water bucket.
You would. So I was like, okay, I think you definitely have to set up some sort of way that you can get like rain tanks or mini dams so you can have a few people living off this water of a sizable size. I went, okay, that's one thing at the very least. But the more I started going about it, I was like, man, could you even if you had a year to prep, could you actually live a whole life while a zombie apocalypse goes down? Because I'm imagining at some point, you're probably not going to be able to obtain any food either. Like, food's going to stop as we know it in terms of, having the availability, obviously, to go to the shops and buy some food. Once that runs out, you're basically, like, killing your own, like, animals for meals, or you're going, like, plant-based and something like that.
Yeah.
And I go, could you at the top of the mountain build enough space to, like, become a farmer or something like that? Maybe, but man, it's going to be really hard to prep to do it in 1 year.
Yeah. Well, this was my thoughts on like location. The ideal location would be rocky mountainous terrain where lots of zombies, if one even managed to get up there, it would fall off and die.
Yep.
Or, fall to the bottom, and then I wouldn't have to deal with it. And there would already be a community of people living up there who know how to live up there and live pretty much independently. So maybe they have some contact with the outside world, but it's very, very minimal. And so when the apocalypse comes, they'll sort of be the last ones to even see them. So not only do I have a year's worth of prep to learn their skills and sort of integrate into their tribes, I'd have probably another 2 or 3 years just because of how remote it would be to really get in. And I think I could probably bring some family and friends along and
do that transition.
Yeah, somewhat. So my thoughts are like, I'm not building anything. I'm not trying to build dams and moats and water recycling and farms and all that sort of stuff. No, I gotta fit in where people are already living in a good location to do it. Yeah.
But would your mindset there be, it's like, that'll last for 5 years. That'll last for 10 years. Because surviving a zombie apocalypse. So, 20 years down the track, they're going to get there. Or 5 years down the track, they're going to get there.
Yeah, well, I guess that sort of depends on like what happens. Would, if a zombie fell off the cliff, one, what do they do when there's no more meat? I guess. What do they do when there's no more humans? Do they continually just walk around aimlessly within like the city, or do they?
No. So I guess let's say they will smell and hunt down the human meat that's available.
Yeah. Yep. So I could. I guess the question is, are they talking enough to each other that if one finds its way to where I'm at, then
everyone will come for it. Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right. Well, then it's like you're basically doomed no matter what, unless you've constructed like a steel bunker underground with no physical entrance way for them to get in. Everyone's going to die. So that would sort of be a prolonging one, I guess.
Yeah.
So then I guess the question would be, all right, I'd spend my year like this. I would go to a couple of these locations, see if any of them I think are livable, like if I could actually live that way, or if my life would just be so miserable up there that it's not even worth living.
Yep.
And then I'd make the call of like, all right, I'll give this a shot at least, versus I'd probably just killing myself, to be honest. I'd probably just be like, all right, here they come. How's
time to go?
Yeah. How can I kill myself in like the least painful way?
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Let's put some questions first before we do the Boostagram Lounge.
Okay.
Before I tell you my thoughts on that particular topic.
Yeah.
So give me some questions. Questions come through.
So of people in the chat or anything?
Oh yeah.
Peter, zombie tigers, Kyron, great. I'm sort of assuming that the zombie tigers, we won't have zombie tigers.
It'll stick to humans. Okay.
Yeah,
We'll say it's humans.
That was my thoughts.
Because then you're completely fucked.
Yeah. Justin Frox from the Zen Garage says, "Oh damn, you guys are live! Awesome! Yes, thank you,
Woo!
Justin. We are indeed live, and we've every Sunday 7 p.m. Brisbane time is our live one. So people, if you have any questions, let us know. But no particular ones. I suppose one thing I was going to say was like, I would also think about assimilation. So what?
Should we do Boostagram first? Boostagram Lounge?
Okay, yeah.
Let me do Boostagram Lounge first.
Right, sounds good.
Let me do that because that's our normal little pause there. Before you jump into that one.
Okay. Peter also says, according to every zombie film I've ever seen, the survivors are way more dangerous than the actual zombies. So yeah, good point, Peter. I'm going to touch on that in a little bit.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that'll be interesting. Okay, so a few here. I went so Petar again, Fountain 22222.
Quack, quack,
Quack quack. The stoic
Rolled up.
coldness of the Eastern Europeans. Is it that obvious?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Peter.
Yes, it is.
You would know that being Petar the Slav.
Oh yeah. Another one sent through on Fountain. Now it says Me Immortals podcast.
Yeah, so
Cool
I was doing a test one.
Gotcha. Okay.
Once again, one thing I will note is doing live tests of boostagrams has not worked well when I'm out and about. Because I'm always like, I go to a meetup event for something crypto related.
Yep.
I try and show someone, hey, here's this cool thing. I can use Fountain, send myself one, and it takes 10 minutes to go through versus the instantaneous when it's here at home.
Gotcha.
So yeah, a little bit. I don't actually know why that is, because from everything I've heard, it should be pretty instantaneous. But yeah, that was a test one that I did trying to convert someone to the value for value model.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. And then another one from Petar. He sent this through Fountain. Those who can do, those who cannot ineffectively philosophize. Trademark. I really like that one. That was really good. So that's trademarked now by Petar. So,
yeah. Okay. So
we did effective philosophizing.
He's got
ineffective.
Nice. I think his will take off more because the effective philosophy is I think that's kind of hard to find like useful ones.
True. But that was 3,333.
Thank you.
Using Fountain.
Thank you, Peter. Much appreciated. For everyone who's wondering what's a boostagram, actually at the moment, if you join Fountain and I think all you have to do is message Oscar, or if you check out Fountain on Twitter, they're doing promotion of like 1,000 sats. So if you just download it and probably like message him or something like that, he'll add 1,000 sats to your wallet, so you can get a
cool. That is like that can't be any easier for you to like trial it out.
Pretty much,
to be honest.
Pretty much, yeah. Yep.
Go and try out Fountain.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Broadshoulders. Joey also asks, I've asked a female this question to a female. Okay, great English there, Joey. And they suggested she would be more scared of zombie survivors because she could be kept safe by the zombie survivors to have I can't even read that. What does that mean?
Joey, man.
Use some English.
He's already a zombie. He's already a zombie. This is how they're trying to get you. But I want to pick up on this trend you said before. So, because you were talking about like, you'd have to kind of figure out what would be you'd go somewhere like at a village and you'd figure out like, okay, can I even be worth living there for 3 years, 5 years? And then when they're coming, just kind of off myself. And then I guess what more and more that I started thinking about it was like, okay, do you, at that point, knowing full well that it's like, okay, maybe I can't live like a whole life, or you can't live a whole generation. Because that's what I was like, I was thinking in my mind, like, how would you make it multi-generational? How would you make it your whole life? And I went, okay, there might be ways you can do it, but it's going to get so extreme to the point that, like, if you do it really well, you might be the only humans left on Earth, and then the rest are zombies. It's like, is it even worth living at that point? Is it even worth what? Like, is there going to be joy in just living you and 4 friends and 7 family members, on a mountain? It's like, is that going to be really joyful? Maybe some people will say yes. I feel like maybe there'd be such an amount of suffering in the world at that point. It's like, maybe just for 1 year, I'll just enjoy life, just like spend it with like people who love, go traveling everywhere, and then be like, okay, when it comes, it'll come, and then we'll just do whatever happens and see how long it lasts.
Now, that's actually another good hypothetical. What would the world become like if we all knew that we only have like one year left? What would actually happen? How much would it be party and fun? Would it be people
like if an asteroid's coming that's so huge it's going to like absolutely
and there's just no possibility of us?
Well, see, this is kind of like the equivalent question, but it's just going to happen over 20 years. That's the thing. Like, it's going to happen like with these sort of zombies. I'm just imagining at the rate of infection and increases, you're going to have more and more and more, and maybe they'll try and kill a lot of them, but you won't get all of them, and everyone's going to get infected at some point. So it's like,
yeah, but there's still hope. I guess that's the difference.
Yeah, like it feels like there's hope, where the other one would be like, there's no hope at all. Yeah.
So what I wanted to bring up, and Peter touched on this, was assimilation. So we are very human-centric point of view on. We're humanists. Just as bad as racists. And we have automatically assumed that this is a bad thing. But
Correct.
what if it's a good thing? So my thoughts were also, okay, I'll go to this random place, but I'll try and keep in contact. I'll try and make a friend who I know is like in the city. They're the one in the heart of where it's all going to go down and where there's going to be mass things. But they're going to try and last it out as long as they can. And I want details from him on, how are they interacting, the zombies together? Are there any hot as fuck zombie babes out there?
Yep.
Is it okay not feeling cold? Do they look like they're actually having some pretty decent lives? What is being formed? Because we don't know what the internal monologue of them is.
Yeah.
Sort of, have a little think of, the Will Smith movie I Am Legend, where he sort of goes into some of the deep dark caves and realize like, oh, this zombie actually cares about this zombie woman that he captured. And maybe they actually have really good lives and it's all good. So
true.
So I'm sort of thinking like, I wouldn't rule out assimilation, like a voluntary, here's my arm, like just have a little nibble,
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe I would capture one or something like that, and then I could get just a little bite on the tip of my finger or something, so I'm not completely disfigured, and then I can be like one of the hottest fuck zombie dudes out there.
Well, look, I'm going to say that when you turn into a zombie, you're a full zombie. As long as you can be like only a little bit of zombie.
Yeah.
But I'm not putting the stipulation here where it's like, oh, they're brain dead and they can't think. No, like it's an unknown. It's an unknown at that point. More and more, I'm just landing on like that question. You have 1 year to prep for a zombie apocalypse. What do you do? And I think ultimately the thought is like, oh well, what can you do to survive it and like live for a long time and do it? But I think the reality is like, no, you can't. Like whatever you do, at some point something's going to run out, or you're just going to be suffering so much. You're going to be like, okay, why are we even doing this? Like you might as well go. So
like you get pneumonia and it's well, you don't have a hospital, so you're fucked.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, imagine you get sick, you get COVID-23, and then it's like, shit, I'm dead now. Like, what are you going to do? It's funny you were saying about like we were being very humanist, very very specific here. So obviously we care about ourselves, which is good. But what would we do ultimately for the planet? Like, it actually would be a great thing for the planet. I feel like, because all of a sudden it's like animals and everything else would be like, this is kind of cool. Like, we're kind of going back to normal.
They can do their own thing. We don't have to. Yeah, it's sort of almost like we've discovered an unlimited energy source. Like we don't know how they're creating their energy to move around and whatnot. Probably photosynthesis, or maybe like the virus itself makes all of like everything in our cells super efficient. So they only need like a pound of or a kilo of human flesh. Yeah. And that'll last them thousands of years, sort of thing. And like they don't poop. Yeah. Think about that. Perhaps. No more pooping.
Now,
how much time
I'm going to just extrapolate here, because I guess ultimately what I land on is, I think if you individually are prepping, there's not really much you can do. Like, yes, you can do a few things we talked about, but I think ultimately I kind of fall on the just have fun for a year and then just rock and roll with the rest of everybody and just, go like hoard a bit of food, enjoy time with the family until they come, and then try to fight it out. And then when you can't, just give in to the zombies and just be like, okay, cool. I tried. That was good fun. Okay. Cool. Done.
Yeah, that's like kind of a huge horde outside your house, and you can live that, very rare moment that only musicians get of crowd surfing and just like jumping out into a wave of zombies.
Exactly. Yeah. Where would you land as an individual?
Yeah. I'd probably, a lot of this was all in jest and joke, but if it actually happened, I think I would, see if there was any options. If someone came up with a really good idea, like a watertight idea that I thought there's a good chance of that working, I'd maybe do that.
Like sailing on a boat forever type of deal. Like if they build,
create some sort of.
Well, so this was going to be my next question. I kind of specified it to you if you had to prep, and there was a bit of a like. Now, if I change that slightly and I said to you, okay, everybody knows that it's coming.
Yeah.
Like in 1 year it's coming, and you can't get them while they're swimming or whatever for some reason. Like you can't really find them. Maybe they're underwater, but let's just say 10,000 are going to hit every single country all at the same time in a year. But everybody knows it's coming and everyone can prep for it. Then I'll be like, oh, okay, maybe there's a chance.
Yeah, I would suck up my like independence and do, what what the overwhelming majority say that. So like, how can I use my skills to help fortify or, be part of this plan of whatever it is that we've collectively agreed. But that's the thing. There's probably not going to be a collective agreement. There's going to be
well, that's what I'm
separate
thinking.
Things coming up. Different cities will create different options. Yeah. It's
even there. It's like, even if everyone knew that it was coming, we're probably just too much of a species that likes to like specific groups to be right or wanting to do specific things, that we would probably get that wrong anyways. Like maybe places like China where they'd be like, nah, everyone's doing it and they're used to it. Maybe that'd be better. I don't think Australia could really get themselves sorted.
Too much freedom here. That's bloody
that's
bloody
a problem.
freedom.
That's a problem for zombie apocalypse. That's the thing.
For sure. The last thing I wanted to bring up was, say that we did try and survive. What I think it would be interesting to see what sort of values would now become, that's a good person. So instead of maybe confidence, courageousness, quick wit thinking, intellectual capabilities, I think some new values would maybe be,
that's interesting. Okay.
Quiet people. So just people who are generally more quiet
like
and less
sneaky,
clumsy.
like sneaky people.
Yeah. So just not people who just don't make much noise. They glide in and out of rooms. When they're walking, they're very light on their feet. That sort of
that would
thing.
become
You're screwed.
Thing.
Like the way you walk upstairs and downstairs.
They're gonna find me for sure.
Yeah. Probably like waste minimization. So making use of what you have. So drinking all of that. There's a disagreement I have with my brother all the time. I always eat like all the rice in the bowl, and I will pick up like individual rice things and put them into my mouth, whereas he'll
leave a couple of things behind.
He'll leave what I consider half a spoonful of rice in the bowl, separated out. He's done. He's out of the group. Fuck you, brother. You can't have any of that bullshit. People who with really good eyesight for small movements. So let's say you're in the bush somewhere and you're like, oh, I just saw a movement over there. That's probably a zombie. Let's go that way.
Yeah.
What else? A good sense of direction. Maybe even like magic. So if you're a really good magician and you can, throw up a cape, really good at sleight of hand or something, the zombies think you've gone that way and you've actually gone the other way.
Yeah.
Like smoke bombs and things like that. Ruthlessness, probably, in just killing them when you have to. So even, your brother gets bitten. Sorry, brother.
Gotta go.
Yeah. My brother's taking a beating on this one. And probably just things like climbing skills and nimbleness. So like you're good at climbing trees or just going around corners and fitting through tight holes and things like that. So I think so there would be a new set of humans would rise to the top of perhaps utility. You'd probably still have hierarchies and groups like that and planners and leaders. But I think that if the most important person of the group is the really quiet one decides, that's a bad idea, people would probably side with them because they've got more use.
Gotcha.
They're the ones who can go out and get food, whereas everyone else, like the ones of the group, they're just like screwed.
Dead. Completely dead. Actually, and the only thing, the final thing that just fell in my mind, we were talking about like what would anybody do, and like governments wouldn't really get their mindset together and everything. But I wonder if there would be, if what would eventually actually happen, I'm just thinking like, we're in 2022. What actually would happen? Could there be a private company out there or whatever who creates drones that partners up with like some shooting mechanism or whatever, and they basically just make a killing by essentially selling everybody drones that will kill like zombies.
Yeah.
Like auto defense mechanisms, and it's like spot zombies, boop, kill them, like decapitate them, whatever, and it's like, oh, you're all good now, but you have to have like pay for it as far as defense, and they make a killing for it. And I'm like, maybe 1 year, but you wouldn't even have to, like, you could use more time because the zombies would take a little while. But I think ultimately I still fall in the sad state that I feel like eventually everyone's going to die anyways, and just have a good time while you're at it.
Yep, sounds good to me. All right, let's call it there. I don't think we need a really long one for this one.
No,
a couple of others. We've been doing some massive
long ones. Yeah.
So just a couple of final comments to finish up here. We've got Gus Granados.
Oh, he's joined.
Papa Granados.
Papa Bear.
He says, when you cannot win, join them. Yes, and so this was also tying in with Peter's idea of the survivors are more dangerous than the zombies. Yeah.
Would you go out and buy a costume that looks like
a zombie, and try and fool them. Yeah. I mean, like, you could also create some sort of suit, which is just, you know, like biteable, I guess. Or you could go the what was it? The Israeli route, like in World War Z, and just pull out everyone's teeth.
Oh yeah.
You know, that sort of deal. You know, there's some different options there. Some different options.
Damn.
Justin from Zen Garage says, I do think more and more people are locking themselves indoors and separating themselves from society / not socializing.
That would happen a lot.
So, yep, that, you know, COVID has been a good prep for the zombie apocalypse. We're a little bit more used to what needs to be done.
True.
Yeah, and then only have a couple of zombies actually going out in the streets. Not.
That's a good point.
Not millions. Petar Juan, it would be your duty to repopulate the global man. Get to work. The global aim to repopulate the global. I'm not sure what that is. Westside Baby, what have I joined to? You're not going to kill me off, are you? So that's my brother
he's 100% dying.
Sorry, Westside Baby, you are.
You're definitely dead for leaving some rice.
You're so dead because of your waste. You're not eating enough rice. What is this? Peter says handstand ability. I wonder what the currency would be. Yeah, what kind of currency would we be using?
Bitcoin.
Probably.
I genuinely think we'd go into digital currency.
Probably Bitcoin, and then maybe then I think it would devolve into usefulness.
It would devolve like it used to back in the day, like
food,
animals, the like.
More barter style for sure. Coolies. All right. Thank you everyone for joining to this relatively. It's not even that small, to be honest.
It's like almost 40 minutes anyway.
Yeah, this is still decent.
It just feels short because like the last ones are being on.
Yeah, we're
1
going
hour
for like
plus.
hour and 10. Yeah, those are long episodes. So thank you everyone for joining. What are your thoughts on the zombie apocalypse? Peter says Hosky. Yes. Yeah.
The new global currency.
It's
maybe.
so useless that it's like, fuck it.
Inverses goes backwards and makes it like the most valuable thing on earth.
Yes. Oh, that's good. So thank you everyone. There's a value for value podcast. So your comments in the chat are just as valuable to us as monetary support, as sending through boostagrams like Peter has done. Big thank you to Peter for consistently coming up where we really do appreciate it, mate. Has been fantastic. Also directly for you, Peter. I know you send boostagrams through for the book reviews channel. I read them out on the monthly recap. So I just recorded that today and it'll be released tomorrow. So yes, I do get to them. I just don't put them in the
the normal book in our main channel. It's in the book review channel. Yeah.
Well,
in the monthly recap channel.
Yeah, it's a recap video. It's in just a certain video. Yep. So it's so everyone, thank you for joining us. The zombie apocalypse is over. We've shown you how to survive.
Which basically the answer is you're not going to survive.
To have a good time.
Exactly. Yeah. Have a good time until the end. All right, me more lads, going to leave it at that. One out.
Going out.
Woo. Good.
Thank you everyone for joining the stream. We're heading off now. Man, we got a diverse crew here. So we had Peter, Westside Baby, Zen Garage, Gus Granadas, Joey, even Manchill right at this. Sorry, Manchill, I forgot about you. He just says zombies. And then my own, and then Identity sent one through. So that's 8 people. Man, that's a decent.
That's cool. I like it.
It's a decent effort. Thank you everyone for joining. Peace.